Hey there, I'm Linda Swindling, and I am sitting right here in Dallas, Texas right now, but we'll be seeing hopefully everyone who's watching this next month when we go to the Great Lakes Education Summit. And one of the questions I was asked was, what if you're having trouble trying to get approval to come to the conference? Or what if you need to ask someone to get blessings to, come and attend? What can you do? And so I thought back to what we did when we went with MPI to Cancun. There was a lot of convincing that had to go on that this wasn't some big party. This was actually educational. This was something that was going to improve not only the person going, but the business that was being represented. So that brings up a topic, which is, ask outrageously. And ask outrageously means asking outside your comfort zone. Now, I know that you ask all the time if it involves an attendee or something with a venue, or you're trying to plan something, or you're a supplier or vendor and you're asking a meeting planner for something. You ask all the time. But when it comes to you, very often people do not ask for themselves. So that kind of can feel a little bit, you don't feel at ease doing that. What do you do to kind of overcome? What do you do to ask on behalf of yourself and ask in a way that isn't obnoxious? We're just asking a little bit outside our comfort zone. So 3 questions really come to mind. And that is the 3 W's. What do you want? Why? What are the good reasons that you want whatever you're asking for? And worth. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? So what do you want by attending this conference? Why is it worth it? And then spinning that, radio dial, WIIFM, because we're all listening to it. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Spinning it to WIIFT. What's in it for them? What's in it for the person that you're asking? What is it that you want that they can give you? Why? Why is that a good reason for them to give that to you? And is it worth it to them to have you gone, have you attend this conference, invest in you? So not just what's in it for you, but what's in it for them. So the easiest one to start with is what? What are you trying to obtain? And the easiest way about that is you give it a title. So instead of, oh, I hope you'll let me do it. No, it's, I want to go to the Great Lakes Conference. It is next month. That's what it's called. Julie goes to the conference. Sam goes to the conference. Jamel goes to conference. Whatever it is, you can title it. Write it on a piece of paper. Why do you want to do that? Well, then you make it about the piece of paper you wrote it on, the ask. And it's not personal. It's not a personal attack. That's going to be really important when you're asking for yourself so that it doesn't become emotional. The second thing under what is your ask? So, hey, boss, hey, leader, hey, team, I want to go to this summit. Just lay it out there. Tell them exactly what your what is. And what is your intention? When I go to this summit, I will be there to meet new contacts, find out information, grow professionally, learn some answers to some questions that we've been having around here. So what's your intention to go? What's your objective? What's your goal? If you know the what, people all of a sudden say, well, this person's thought through it. This person knows. Now, if you need a little help on languaging that, you've got a perfect website. Go to the website, the Great Lakes Education Summit website, and look, it says this is the 8th year we've been doing this. This is the 8th one, meaning it's been around, it's been of value. This is taking place Sunday through Tuesday. So this is not a big ask. This is a couple of days. This is not you traveling out to the great unknown. This is right here in a neighboring state, some place that we always go, or we already do it, or we're already here in the state. And it's for networking opportunities and professional development for event professionals and suppliers. You're not going to party. These are the people that you deal with. Now, probably the big one here for some of you is it's certified education. So this is one of those places you can get credit that maybe would take you a lot of money and a lot of effort elsewhere. Also, look at just the 3 words for your own personal. Join us this week, connect, engage, and inspire. My gosh, after all of the months, years now that we have dealt with the craziness of this industry, we need each other. We need to connect. We need to engage. And more importantly, we need to inspire. We need to be inspired, and we need to inspire others that we're going to survive this. The people that are going to this summit are actually going to be a little bit higher a lot of times in their organizations, maybe a little more experience, and they've ridden through the pandemic. So if you're new to the industry, you're going to meet some people that are experienced and know what it's really like and know what you've been through. If you're seasoned, you've got to be back and connect and see how things have changed. The next thing though is you're going to say, boss, this is what I want to do. I want to go to this conference. This is when it is. And then I want you to take a big deep breath and just ask. Just say, can I go? Can I go? And then just shut your mouth and listen. Just be quiet, hear what they have to say. The worst thing they could say is what? You're fired. Yeah, that would be the worst. But no, they could say no. All right. If they say no, you say, I heard you say no. Very respectful, right? I heard you say no. Can you tell me more? Can you tell me about your thinking? And so many of us have this beware attitude. Oh no, beware, I'm on a ledge, I'm putting myself out there. No, be willing to listen for the no. We'll talk more about that at the summit. What instead I want you to concentrate on with your 3 W's, your what, your why, your worth, is what are you aware of? I want you to watch what the boss says. I want you to see what they say. Usually they are going to ask you a question after you say, hey, can I go? And you know your boss, you know your leader, you know your team, you know them better than anybody probably here, right? So think about what they might be asking you. What might they be asking you so that you can already kind of go ahead and think through the questions they may have. What do they usually say when you say you want to do something? How do you have to propose it? And whatever that is, I want you to consider living in a question, meaning your what or your hows. Well, boss, what would you want me to get out of this? Hey, I talked to other people and this is what good business reasons they have for me to go. The next question is the make it or break it question. And it's why. And it's not why, like a teenager would say to our parent, because no. The why stands for what are your good business reasons for wanting to attend? What are your good business reasons for wanting to attend? So what is it that you could get out of this conference, this summit, that you couldn't get anywhere else? What is it? Well, one of the things for you, hopefully, is that you're going to polish your skill set. You're going to develop your superpowers a little bit more. You're going to learn a little bit more about your strengths or an area that you need to be strong in. Also look at these sessions. My gosh, human trafficking, that could really be worthy of coming. State of industry, the AV, all the AV issues we're having right now. Are you kidding me? When you're thinking through it, I want you to think of the questions you've had the last couple of years and say, who could answer this for me while I'm there? And then when you look through this, future predictions of our business and meetings, building the supply chain with diversity, personal brand development, solutions to what's keeping you up at night, you have now all of a sudden a purpose, an intention, your what for when you go, and you know why, your good business reasons. And also I'm coming and we're going to have a great time. And we're going to talk about negotiations and really go a little deeper on this ask outrageously concept. And if your leader, your boss, the person who's approving this has questions, pull up some of these topics and say, well, let me show you who's coming. Let me show you the speaker bios. Let me walk you through. These are 3 things that are hitting our industry that can really affect us. We need to be looking at this because of our trade show and how the AV is working. Or I really want to know about this human trafficking. I wonder if we have some liability here. You can even talk to others, other departments, other teams, and say, hey, do you have any issues regarding one of these topics? Or what are you most concerned about? So that when I go to the summit, I could be thinking about your issues. The other reason, though, is because this summit really gathers people that you already do business with, or maybe have wanted to do business with. So look at the strategic partners that are going to be here and think about who is it that you really need to connect powerfully with? Maybe somebody you have questions about, you've thought about doing business in their city, or maybe you thought about changing a vendor, or maybe you've thought about doing something jointly. They're going to be there. The partners are going to be there, and you know they're going to be there because they've got 3 states, and it's not one of these huge conferences when you're not going to have time to get to know people. The other thing is, look at the exhibitors that are here. My gosh, some of these you're already doing business with. Some of them you could. This may be the best time when, they don't have the phone calls ringing. You don't either, for you to really talk about what are some creative solutions? What are you seeing in the industry? What can we do together? How can we help each other? So this is a great time to really connect one-on-one. And if you are a vendor, my gosh, you've got to be at this conference because your decision makers are going to be here. This is not a conference where just anybody shows up for a meeting. This is a commitment. This is a commitment to get to the resort, to go to this conference for a Monday and a Tuesday and really connect. And then probably the question you're always asking yourself is something that most of us do. Is it worth it? Is this worth it? So if it's not worth it to you, it's kind of hard to make it worth to somebody else. Let me say that again. If it's not worth it to you, if you can't prove it to yourself, that you want to do something, you want to ask for something, the benefit outweighs the risk, it's very hard to then negotiate and try to get something that you don't think is worth it. I've looked at this conference, I've looked at the people coming. This is definitely worth it. It's worth it for me to come from Texas to do this. Good people, smart people doing creative things, having solutions for what we need to do next. And then talk to your decision maker and say, this is why I think it's worth it. This is why I think it's worth it for the company. And that could be all sorts of reasons. Now, then some of them are going to bottom line you. And they're going to say, so how much does it cost? Well, this is chump change for most organizations. I mean, look at the fees on this. This is nothing. 150, 200 for a planner. Non-member planners, 225, 300. And then if you're a member supplier, 275. And then 325, and then a non-member supplier, 350 and 400. I mean, for a 2-day conference with these people and this level in 3 different states, that's a big deal. This is not a lot of money. And if you're a student, you just need to get here because this summit will introduce you in a way that school never could. The other thing is if they say, oh, well, it's a resort, you say, hang on, time out. We might even consider using this resort, and it is a beautiful property, and look at what they are offering in honor of our meeting profession. Look at the fees that they're charging. $99 a night with a $10 resort fee and some taxes. That's unheard of for a resort of the Grand Geneva's potential. So really, there's very few of you that will have a corporate rate that'll beat that on just about any hotel. The other thing is when they start quizzing you, when you start seeing yourself, well, why do you want to do this? And why do you want to do this? One of the things you want to think about is how can I bulletproof myself? So if you're given a comment like, well, wow, that seems like a waste of time. What do you think about it as a waste of time? How would you address that? What about this session looks like a waste of time? Well, I don't know that we can be without you. What are your concerns about that? What do you think would be a problem with me being gone for Monday and most of Tuesday? And so what you're going to do is listen to what their objections are. And most of those you're going to cover. You're going to say, well, I'm going to work a little extra before I leave. I have people covering my phones. People know what I'm doing. But just like Wonder Woman does with the bracelets, you're going to bulletproof yourself and say, valid concern. What is it that you're concerned about? That I won't pick up the phone? Okay, great. Actually, I'll have my cell with me. I have someone else answering my phone. And I've put all my appointments on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The other thing, though, is when you're trying to show somebody, is it worth it? Think about what kind of personality they are. Are they more that decisive bottom line it for me? If so, go in, give them the bottom line and ask. Or are they more of that, detail person? They have to have all the facts and details. If so, prepare your report, prepare your PowerPoint, show them the percentage that you could increase if you started managing linens better, or you started looking at catering, or your the way you make reservations was better. Look for some of those numbers, some support. You can go to MPI, you can go to histories, and really look and say, we really need to improve this by 5%. We really need to grow this by having 20 more attendees. We really need to get our social media going. So have those details. Now, if it's someone who's more, they've got that heart, that accommodating heart, that what you want to say is, I really think if I go here, I could help us make connections that would really matter to our people. I really think that would make a difference to them. I really think it would make a difference to our clients. I really think it would make a difference to how we lead around here in our office. And if it's someone that's, that bright, shiny one that's very engaging, say, I'm going to see what the newest, greatest is, so we can make sure that our meetings reflect the top thing that's going on, that show really what we're about, shows it in a great way. It's not too expensive, but it really shows that we're on top of our game. The other thing on bulletproofing, and okay, take a big deep breath. I'm really gonna maybe push some of you. You may offer to pay for it yourself. It really isn't that much money. You may offer to do what the rest of us that are business owners are, and you have to pay money to develop yourself. You can do kind of a hybrid, and you could say, look, boss, if you'll give me the days, I'll pay for it. Or if you'll pay for it, I'll take vacation days to do it. And sometimes just making the offer alone will change a leader's heart. And I'll say, you're really willing to invest in yourself to do this? I'll pay for the whole thing. I've seen too, some people are so hesitant. Well, I'm not doing that if my company doesn't pay for it, if my organization. Why? You're the driver of your career. You're the one that's going to ultimately, hopefully, benefit from these professional connections. So it's something to consider. Maybe not right now for you, but for most of us, sometimes it is time to invest in order to do our next thing. So do those things. Show them, the what you want. Show them the good reasons why. Then ask. Show them it's worth it and ask. Because here's the thing. You won't know if you don't ask. You got to ask to know. You've got to ask to grow. Well, I hope to see you at MPI. This summit is going to be spectacular. I'm excited to go. And go ahead, take a breath and ask. I hope to see you there.